Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another AB Daily News with your hockey coach, Guru called Frenchy. Today, episode number 243. What do you have the new coach today? First of all, I want to talk, guys, today about the Monahan injury. Then, the impact of injury of Monahan changed the plan for the Montreal Canadiens. And finally, AB news. One of them is about Carey Price. But before we start, we invite you, don't forget please to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show, and leave me a comment about this episode. And let's dive in talking about my first subject of the day. My first subject of the day, guys, about the Montreal Canadiens management. No transparency. What are you talking about, coach? About injuries. Every time Martin St-Louis got a question about injury, he always said, I don't know. I don't know. He really don't give us any update about injuries. Look what happened with Edmondson. From day to day, week to week, to month with his lower back. Now he's returned again for one more time on the injury reserve. GRENIER, twice this year. He returned for one game, back again, out for 6 weeks. Madison, month to month with him. At the beginning, it was only for week to week. And same situation went out with Monahan, guys. This is something where I think Montreal Canadiens have to become better and better. And exactly what I just mentioned to you. Day to day, week to week, month to month. About Monahan, guys, the situation is really strange to me. He played 3 games with broken foot. First, against the Calgary Flames. Then he played with Edmonton Oilers. And finally, he left the game against the Vancouver Canucks during the second period. Since that, we don't know. Honestly, we don't know. He was supposed to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. He returned at the end of December. He skated alone. Then he skated with a team with a jersey, no contact. Then he's out now since the January 18. And look like right now, they don't know. We have to wait until the end of the week to hear a little bit more what Monahan is going on. Are you concerned about the situation with Monahan? I feel it's worse at what we're thinking right now. Some of you said to me, oh no, he protect him. They just wait to trade him at the next couple of days and he's going to be fine. For me, I think it's worse. He could aggravate his situation with the foot, or he could have the same problem he got in the past with his hip. And this, for me, is my biggest problem, a concern with Sean Monahan. Because normally, guys, in hockey, you don't put a player out of the lineup just because you want to protect a trade for a week. Yeah, something behind the door we don't know yet. I could be wrong here. I've been wrong before. But for me, yeah, something we don't know. It's not looking good for Sean Monahan. And I think right now, it's what is next for the Montreal Canadiens. Possibly they put him at the long-term injury reserve. It could be for maybe not going to have a chance to trade him at the trade deadline. If they put him at the long-term injury reserve, that put Montreal Canadiens have more money on their salary cap. But again, I would like to hear from you guys about my first subject. Do you believe Montreal Canadiens hide Monahan right now just to protect him for the trade deadline? Or you're really thinking like me, maybe it's something worse of his situation about his foot. Maybe you have something we don't know yet. We're going to hear a little bit more the next couple of days. But I just want to share it with you what I'm thinking right now about Sean Monahan. Leave me a comment about this first subject and let's dive in for my second subject of the day. My second subject of the Montreal Canadiens today, guys, is about a little bit what I was just talking about for Sean Monahan. Sean Monahan, because of the injury, could changing the plan, strategy shift because of Monahan and Joel Edmondson injuries. Both of them was a big asset for Montreal to trade at the trade deadline. Obviously, with the both on the long-term injury reserve, possibly now Montreal Canadiens could not trade them at the trade deadline. What are the other options? I believe they could trade Josh Anderson, Jake Allen, Jake Evans over Christian Dvorak because the money salary cap is better with Evans versus Dvorak. And approximately c'est the same kind of players like PK, great, good face-off players. And offensive is not better, both of them anyway. Finally, David Savard. I believe they are the 4 players right now they could have an option for can use if they want to trade them to get something at the trade deadline and return prospect or picks. We know already that enough is drawing, but they are UFA, so I don't put them them on this same kind of situation compared to Savard and the rest of the name I just mentioned to you. So what is the plan B for Montreal Canadiens, guys? With Edmondson, Monahan, Savkovsky, Caulfield, and other players on the long-term injury reserve, that's decreasing the salary cap below at $9.5 million. So what is the point with that part, guys? But with that kind of money, the Montreal Canadiens could make some trade for bad contract for other team. They could become a team on a three-way trade, retaining money for a specific contract. What happening for the Montreal Canadiens? In return, they could get picks and prospects. Same situation, what happened with Sean Monahan during the summer. They got Sean Monahan for $6.5 million, but they got a first-round pick in return. This is a two option Montreal Canadiens could look over the situation because of injury and Edmondson and Monahan. I would like to hear from you guys. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about my second subject, the strategy shift and possibly Montreal Canadiens could look other option before the end of the trade deadline. So let's see what's happening with Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon. That's conclude my second subject. And let's dive in and finally talking about my last subject of the day. The last subject of the day, guys, is about the HABS news and update. First of all, we heard yesterday the New Jersey Devils are really watching the Montreal Canadiens. For the last three games, they watch the Montreal players. What could happening with them if they really want to add players before the end of the trade deadline for the Devils to get a better team ready for the playoff. First of all, the Devils are looking to add a top 6 players. But the problem is possibly is too much money to get that kind of players. I'm talking about example, Timo Meier, Tarasenko. Both of them are $7 million more. And Meyer have to sign up and possibly a new contract at $9 million. And they have to sign Jasper Bratt next year. So I think the Devils are a little bit concerned about this. Secondly, they have only one big winger, Sharakovich, at 6.2. The rest are around 6 foot. I believe for Josh Anderson, it really become the target for the Devils. We know in the past, they're always looking for Anderson. Anderson Ken Hughes is not looking for right now to trade Josh Anderson. At least he gets something good in return. The Devils have good prospect in the organization. They have a first-round pick they can trade. They have a great goaltender. They have a good right defenseman. And I think Montreal Canadiens could get something big in return for Josh Anderson. That's something we have to follow up for the next couple of weeks about Josh Anderson. And like I mentioned to you earlier, Edmondson and Monahan out, and possibly Monahan could not be traded anymore. So it would be another option for a Montreal trade for Josh Anderson. Finally, none of the news we have for you guys is Carey Price moved back home in British Columbia. It looked like they are leaving Montreal and they are back now permanently to live in the British Columbia. We know he was originally born on the West Canadian. It looked like now the family decide to return over there. Finally, my last update of the day, guys, is about Montreal Canadiens play one more game. Last game of before the All-Star game. Tonight, again, the Ottawa Senators. This is a back-to-back game. They played last Saturday. They lost by the score 5-0. Announced by Martin Saint-Louis confirmed Jake Allen is going to be between the pipes. Something is already upset about this. Again, he's a veteran goaltender. I think he should be between the pipe before the All-Star. So Nick Suzuki is going to be the only Montreal Canadian at the All-Star game. This concludes, guys, all my subject we have for you today on this episode. Here we go. Hopefully you enjoyed, guys. But before we leave, we want to remind you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Show, and leave me a comment about this episode. And of course, I want to remind you, you have greatness inside of you, and we wish you an amazing, blessing day, everybody.